to my very first video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited to be making these videos for you guys, and hopefully you will find a lot that is helpful and some things that challenge you to maybe do some things differently in your day-to-day life. So today I am going to be talking about mindfulness, and don't shut off the video because I know that you've probably seen a lot of articles and heard about it on the radio or from your friends, seen stuff about it on the news because it seems like it's a really popular buzzword these days. Mindfulness, be mindful. But I think part of the reason that it is so popular is that it is something that is really easy to do, and it can really create some measurable changes in your life. So stick with me because we are going to be talking about why do we care about mindfulness, what is mindfulness, and then this will be your kickoff for my smaller, shorter really videos, the Mindfulness Minute, which I'll be uploading one every day for you every weekday. We'll see how that goes. I don't know yet if we'll be doing the weekends or not, but each week there will be a theme, and each day there will be a different thing to challenge you to try in your own life to be more mindful. What is mindfulness? I thought that it would be really helpful to start out and just say, what is this thing that everybody's talking about, that we keep hearing about? So I looked it up, and I personally like to begin with a dictionary definition of things. Any of my clients or anybody that reads my blog can tell you that I start a lot of things with a dictionary definition because I think it's really important that everybody be on the same page and we all know what we're talking about. So I got my little paper here. It says mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations, used as a therapeutic technique. I like how they threw that in. What the hell does that mean, right? That sounds really great. Can you, just from that, can you figure out how to be mindful? I don't know. I think it sounds good, but I think that it's not especially helpful. So my definition of mindfulness is being present right now in the moment. And it's about paying attention to what is going on around you. If you have ever driven a car to work, you do it day in, day out. Have you ever, maybe listening to music or lost in thought, sort of woken up and realized that you're at work and you don't really remember the minute by minute, you don't remember the turn or stopping at the stoplight, or maybe the opposite, maybe going home from work, you suddenly end up in your driveway or your garage and you realize that you weren't paying attention. That is the opposite of mindfulness because we got lost and we weren't paying attention to what was going on around us at that exact moment. See, it's funny when you think about it because the past is gone. It's done with. It's not tangible anymore. We can't change it. We can no longer influence the past. We think about the past. We spend a lot of time, human beings, myself included, we spend a lot of time thinking about the past and what we wish had gone differently, what I should have said, what I should have done, what I wish she had done, what I wish he had done. What would have changed? What would be different? I wish I had gone to this college. I wish that I had gotten this career. I wish I hadn't married that person, whatever. We spend a lot of time in the past. So we spend a lot of time thinking about things that we have absolutely no ability to change. And we spend an incredible amount of time in the future. I know that I'm very bad about this. I'm a planner. So I spend a lot of time thinking about what am I doing today? What am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing this afternoon? What am I eating for lunch? What are we having for dinner? You know, what steps am I going to take to do this project or that project? And so we're living in the future. What will happen when I finish this degree? What will happen when I finally get married? What will happen when I finally have this family that I want and these kids? What will happen when I move to my ideal city? What will happen when I get that promotion that I've been working so hard for? And we spend all this time in the future, but nothing is really real or guaranteed to us except for right now, this present moment. Like, this moment is a gift to us, and we waste it a lot when we spend so much time in the past, which is done with, and in the future, which may never come. You know, maybe you won't get the promotion, maybe you won't get married. All of those future things that we think about may not ever happen. Or those worries. What if my loved one gets hit by a car on the way to work? What if I'm in a car accident? What if this plane crashes? What if my house burns down? What if my mother dies? And those things most of the time don't happen. You know, the plane lands and you've wasted a lot of time in worrying about what might happen in the future. So what mindfulness asks for you to do is to take this gift of the present moment and enjoy it. Be present in your own life. Isn't that like so ridiculously simple? And you might say, well, I'm here. Here I am. This is my life. So what? Mindfulness asks that you really pay attention to when you slip away to the future or the past, and to come back to the present and say, what am I hearing now? What is going on around me? What's happening in the next room or down the street? And to pay attention to right now. I have all these resources that I'm drawing from, and I'm going to have links down in the description box so that you guys can read these articles that I'm talking about and referencing, or anything that would be helpful you'll find down there, because you know, I don't make this stuff up. Sadly, I am not that brilliant. So I have this great article by Christopher Berglund talking about mindfulness and making it simple. And it does mention where mindfulness comes from. It does have its roots in Buddhism and Buddhist practice, but that doesn't mean that you're practicing some kind of weird new age religion, so you don't have to worry about that. People have been using this for a really long time, even though we are just hearing a lot about it now. Mindfulness-based stress reduction is something that is becoming very popular because they have done scientific studies to find that we actually can reduce our own stress through mindfulness. Isn't that incredible? You know, stress is supposed to be this big killer of us all and causing disease, so we can actually reverse those things and take some of that stress away from ourselves by being mindful. So this is an incredible thing. Now, my first introduction to mindfulness was from this book. Yeah, it's showing up. Okay. And I probably will mispronounce the name of the author, so I apologize in advance. Mindfulness in Plain English. Yeah. By Bhante Gunaratana. And believe that he is a gentleman. So Mr. Gunaratana spends a great deal of this book talking about how to meditate and how to do mindfulness meditation. So if you're interested in meditation, I highly recommend this book for making it very simple. It talks about how to do Vipassana meditation specifically. That is the type of meditation where you clear your mind and you focus on what is going on around you, and you try to reduce all of your thoughts. And it is not one where you have a mantra that you say or a chant or an sound, but it's really very silent. And if you're interested in meditation, I highly recommend this book. I'll put a link in the description box, but I think the title is misleading though, because you actually have to get to chapter 13, page 131 before he starts to talk about mindfulness, or sati. And Mr. Gunaratana says that mindfulness is a subtle process that you are using this very moment, in fact. Are we being mindful? On page 131, Mr. Gunaratana says that mindfulness is a subtle process that you're using at this very moment, because hopefully, whether you're reading this book or whether you're watching this video, you're paying attention to what is going on and really focusing in on the moment. But what he goes on to say is that instead of staying in the moment, usually what we begin to do is think and interpret and process. So I hear a sound, and it is the sound of a dog barking, and instead of moving on to the next sound, I start to think about the dog, and I wonder what type of a dog he is, or which of my neighbors has a dog, and have I met this dog? I personally love dogs, so I would be thinking, can I meet this dog? Can I go pet this dog? And so you're gone again. You're not in the present moment anymore, and that is how quickly we can fall out of mindfulness, which is why it is a process that we do have to practice, because it's so easy to go down those side streets and get lost. So I don't recommend this book for mindfulness, unfortunately, but I do recommend this book if you're interested in learning how to meditate, which is ultimately a practice in mindfulness. But why do we do it? Why do we care? Why do you want to be in the present moment? What's in it for me? This is what I always say in group therapy, and I think that my clients probably laugh at me because I like to keep it real. You know, I say, what's in it for me? Like, I'm not going to put all this work into it if I don't get something out of it. So what am I going to get out of this? In the article that I mentioned earlier by Christopher Berglund, link is in the description box if you'd like to read it in its entirety. He talks about the benefits, and he mentions Jon Kabat-Zinn, who is probably one of the most famous writers and lecturers on mindfulness and meditation. And Jon Kabat-Zinn started teaching about mindfulness-based stress reduction in 1979. That was a really long time ago. It's actually before I was born. So that's how long ago that he began talking about this. And they've done a lot of scientific studies. You know, we want to know that these things really work and that people aren't just telling us that they work. We want to know, you know, is there any proof in the scientific community? So they've done studies, and the benefits of mindfulness not only include reducing that stress, which we already talked about, and we know that stress is a killer. It's going to damage you mentally and physically unless you figure out how to deal with it in a productive way. But it also improves our concentration. It helps with our memory. It stops us from dwelling on the past and thinking about all those things that we should have done differently. It helps with anxiety. You react less emotionally, so you're less reactive. You don't snap. You're not as irritable. You have higher rates of relationship satisfaction. People doing studies at UC Santa Barbara and another study from Belgium. So if you're interested in more specifics on that, definitely check out that article, which I will link to below, to really find out, you know, why do we want to take the time to be in the present moment. So that's it for my longer video. So what we'll be doing this week is every day, probably in the morning, I will, like I said, this is my first video. And I don't know if I'll be uploading these in the morning, but I think that would be good, or maybe the night before, so you can watch them in the morning if you're interested in that, to give us a different challenge each day to be more mindful. So those will be following along. If you would like to subscribe and click that little bell so you actually get, not only subscribe, but get a notification when I have a new video to remind you to come over here and check this. or you can subscribe to my newsletter on my website, Stacey Aldridge LCSW.com. I'll put something here at the bottom. I don't think I could put a link, but something to tell you how to spell my name so you can find my website. Just some little reminders to come every day and watch the video and participate in the challenge. So I hope to have a conversation with anybody that's interested about this. If you have any questions or comments, please comment. I will respond. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and I hope that you will enjoy the challenges that are to come this week.
If anybody wants to find me, I'll be in the last place you would look, in a place where people used to be, a land that's called reality. You'll find me there. I won't be catching up on Reddit, I won't be watching any news. I'll let the planet spin without me, 'cause every